Hey everyone, how are you?
Good.
Hello.
You. I'm on top of the world.
Hey, we're going to get started. I'm going to give people, we do have 29 people that are in. Some people are emailing that they're having trouble. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to give them 2 more minutes and then we're going to get started, okay? All right, guys, we're on. Let's go. We'll start first by making sure that you are all muted. I had to find mine because I'm sharing my screen and my mute went away. So welcome. Welcome to 2021. It's going to be quite a ride. Oh, hold on. I got another guest. Let me let him in. So we're going to learn this together. So as I try to progress through my slides. So this is our agenda for today. Hopefully we'll spend about an hour and 15 minutes doing our welcome portion. Then we'll go into a break. And then we'll go into our campus plan and setup, and then our wrap up at 3:30. I will try and make you guys go away. There we go. Okay, so on the bottom right hand side, it says, be kind, have patience, and give grace. And I put that there intentionally because we are all learning together. And I'm just, in a sense of transparency. This is putting me in a very uncomfortable position because I have never led a virtual PD. I've had lots of meetings, but I've never led something that's a truly virtual PD. So I'm trying some new tools. Some may work and some may fail. And you're going to try some new tools with your students, and some may work and some may fail. And so it's okay. So I'm trying to be your model for trying something new, something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable. So I'm asking just that you give me some kindness, some patience, and some grace, because I am going to make a mistake or two, or maybe 12,000 today. Let's go into good things. So the way we're going to do this, I have Ms. Stewart watching for the hand being raised, and I have Ms. Washington watching the chat. So if you have good things, and we always start with the good things when we come together as a faculty and staff, what are some good things that are happening? And I want you to look at that little pink note, because good things are happening. We have lots of love around us. It was just proven to me this afternoon. And no matter what, because we have each other, we will be okay. We're gonna get through this crazy opening of school in a way that we've never done before, because we have each other and we care about each other and we love our students. So let's go ahead and start with good things. So Stuart, if you will call on people who have their hand raised who would like to share good things, please.
Ms. Hinton, I can't see everyone, so if they would use the little hand raising button, that would really help me out. Because I can't see
where the hand raising button is.
It is, if you go to participants at the bottom of your screen, you can raise your hand. It says raise hand, and just click that button.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart.
You're welcome. I can share my good thing, though. I'll start it off. I don't know if a lot of you know, but since we were on our lockdown, I became a Grammy again. I have a grandson. He is 6 weeks old and he is kind of cool. And I just cannot wait. I'm going to try to keep him on Saturday because of COVID. We hadn't been able to just wrap our arms around him. So I'm really excited about this weekend.
Stuart, I had my hand raised, so I'll go. This is Miss Washington. All right, so my good thing is over COVID-19, I got engaged.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to say a few things to get started with. I'm new to the school. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ben Streed. I'm going to be the special education life skills teacher. And my good news really is the fact that I am going to be working with a wonderful group of educators. And also, I have in front of me a great challenge. And I love to be challenged. It certainly motivates me, and I am getting very motivated to do the best job I can possibly do and contribute as much as I can to all of our shared academic adventures.
Well, I have something to share also. I'm a new Grammy also. He's 6 weeks old also. And I had the opportunity to work with the parents and the children this summer. And the parents have really encouraged me because they're very supportive. So I look forward to the new year with more support from our parents than ever.
I see Miss Hill.
Miss Hill, yeah, Miss Hill has her hand raised. Miss Hill, you want to go ahead and go?
We're just talking about good things.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I guess my good thing at this house is we're fixing to add on. So, and I'm very excited to be part of HERN.
We're glad you're here.
Yes, welcome.
Can you see the hands raised, Washington and Stewart? We got lots of hands raised. No, hold on, I lied.
Yes, Miss Trojak, I see your hand raised.
I just wanted to say our good thing was that we've been doing our ESL summer school program and it's been going really well. The kids have really been participating. Parents have been participating. So I've been very excited and very pleased on how well it's gone with it being virtual and everything. So, and tomorrow's our last day. So yay.
Job well done, ma'am.
Miss Arlette has her hand raised.
During this whole break, I also got engaged like Miss Washington. So
yay! Congratulations.
Congratulations. You know,
love in the air.
Yes, love is real. Read the PowerPoint. So, you know, it always feels a little bit forced when we do good things, but it really helps us shift our mindset into looking for good. Our brain is a pattern-seeking mechanism, and so if we start off with like, what problems do you have, and kind of a gripe session, then we're gonna all kind of have more of a negative outlook. But if we're looking towards like everything's good and we're here together, that's gonna really impact the way we move forward, especially when we're working together. So we will always start with good things. So come to meetings ready for good things. Those of you that have worked with me for the past 2 years, you know, we do good things. Okay, I keep pushing my arrow button and it doesn't want that. So there we go. So I am trying to be a fabulous role model and show you my learning target. So today my learning target is teachers and staff, I'm going to try to move this thing. Teachers and staff will create the culture of Hearn Elementary School. So that's our learning target. Then below we have our success criteria. These are all the things that you have to be able to do in order to create the culture. So you're going to have to name the non-negotiables for virtual meetings. We're going to have to reflect on school year 1920. I'm going to ask you to be able to explain the connection between the term family and marigold. Those of you that know marigold, hang in there. Those of you that don't, we'll get you caught up. We're going to have to list ideas for our campus social contract, and then create an introductory Flipgrid and provide feedback on others' work. So again, the top is our learning target. That's how you know, if you can do all those things below, you know that you have mastered that learning target. So we're into our welcome. We have officially launched 2021. So first of all, I want to start with our virtual meeting non-negotiables. Now I know I just alluded to the social contract, but the social contract is important, but you as teachers know that there are times you want to have a social contract and there are times you're like, this is the way it's done. And y'all, this is the way it's done, okay? So when we have virtual meetings, we're gonna have our non-negotiables. So the first one is to be on time. This is obviously written for children, and I've given you the template. Ms. Washington, will you drop that template into the chat box so they can look at it? Please make a copy of it before you start messing with it, because it's mine. So you have to wake up early and log on a few minutes before. What's awesome about Zoom is I got all these messages that you have people in your waiting room. And I was like, we don't start for like 6 minutes. What's going on? So thank you. You were there early. Find a quiet place and check your surroundings. You know, it's important that you can be somewhere where you can really focus. Be prepared. Make sure your computer is charged or at least plugged in, that your camera is on, and that you use headphones if you have them. When we're doing your presentation, wear appropriate clothing. And for you as teachers, that you do not have to dress up. You can wear a t-shirt and jeans when you're doing your virtual instruction. That's okay. This for children means, hey boys, come to the table with a shirt on, please. So those are some norms and some non-negotiables that you're gonna have to teach your students. Sit up straight and be in camera view. One thing that we're going to require of each other when we're having these meetings, and one thing we're gonna require of our students, is that we are always in view. We're not using just our name. So if any of you are doing that, I don't see it right now, but I'll check. This is being recorded. Not using just your name, your face is there. We're gonna require that of our students too. So we have to practice that. Obviously, we're gonna mute ourselves when the teacher or another student is talking. Participation is being focused, being attentive, and being an active participant. Chatting responsibly. Use that little raise your hand. You can actually raise your hand now. I can't see it, but I have a moderator. I could see it if I pulled it up. Or you can type your question in the chat box, or you can raise your virtual hand. I get a little alert when the virtual hand goes up. And then communication. Make sure you speak clearly. Look up, look right into the camera. You know who did a beautiful job of that today was Dr. Johnson. I felt like he was talking just to me, the way he was looking right in that camera. He does a really good job at it. And I'm always like, not sure where to look. You know, make sure that you are staying on the topic. Also, no side conversations, and be respectful. You know, I have just honestly put a lot of time into this presentation. You're going to put a lot of time into your lessons. So we want our students to be respectful and be kind and be considerate. So if you like this virtual meeting non-negotiable, you can change virtual meeting on this template into classroom meeting or virtual school, whatever you want to call it. And then I've showed you, if you don't have your own Bitmoji, you have to make your own Bitmoji. And then this is how to add it to the Chrome extension. So I am going to give you, because some of the best practices, especially when you're using technology, is to show something, give you time to play with it, and then you will have to put it in a parking lot, like in your head, like, ooh, this is cool, I want to go back and finish it. But what's going to happen is if I show you this and give you these links and I move on, you're going to be playing with your template. And so I'm gonna give you that time. So I'm gonna literally make myself be quiet. I'm gonna turn off my camera so that I'm gonna give you 7 minutes to play, and I will come back in 7 minutes. User error. That's my first flub. Just so you know, you have about 3.5 minutes left to play. One more minute. All right, your time's up. It's time to come back to me. Get out of that template. All right. So let me see if I can get you guys to come back up here so I can see you. No, I don't see you there. See, I'm going to learn this. So now we're going to move on. So I hope you had fun starting to play with it. If you need some help with the Bitmoji, let me know, or ask your teammates. I know lots of you already have them. And it's once you have one made, it's really easy to drop into the Chrome extension. You can probably see my Chrome extension up here on the top right. All right. So we're going to move right along. All right. So, of course, we know what that music's all about. Take a little bit of time to look at those words as you listen to the music. Okay, so did anyone recognize this from maybe the last year, the end of the year? Who can raise their hand and tell us that they recognize where this came from?
I see Rizzo raise her hand, Jenkins. I don't want to mess up your name, Mr. Terry. I saw him raise his hand too. Saw you?
It's soil. I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so call on them, Stuart, to share with us where this came from.
Ms. Rizzo.
So that was something that we did last year where everybody put in, I want to say it was the top 3 words maybe that came to mind when we thought about Hearn Elementary. And it
That's
was
right.
really, really neat to see that family was like the biggest one, because that meant that the most people put that word in.
That's right. It's a word cloud or a Wordle, right? And so you're exactly right, Ms. Rizzo. She remembered at the very end of the year, I just said, think about our year and what 3 words really mean something to you. And we put it in, and the more people that put in the same word or phrase, that it makes it grow bigger. And I had actually forgotten about this. And then I started thinking about how we felt like kind of like a family up here at Hearn. You know, we've moved away. We had to act like family when we went into pandemic mode. And we moved away from just colleagues to feeling truly like family. And so I started emailing you guys this summer saying, hey, HES family, because it just felt right, completely forgetting about this word cloud. And then when we were planning for this, I was like, I have a word cloud that we did. I should pull that up, and was pleasantly surprised to be reminded that the thing that we overwhelmingly said was we're a family. And I think that shows the culture shift that has happened on our campus and how much we care about each other, how much we care about our kids. But look at some of those words. Hardworking. If you're new to Hearn Elementary, you've never met people who work harder than these ladies and gentlemen. Passionate about their craft, passionate about each other, passionate about their students, resilient. I don't know anyone in education who's not resilient, but we took what was handed to us, and we were on the front line, and we had things out before other districts. I mean, we were so dedicated to getting all of this done. So this really does capture who Hearn Elementary is. And so I'm looking forward to doing this at the end of the year to see what words still continue to pop out and glare at us. Keep trying to push the wrong button. So we are going to do a little reflection. And I am going to put myself out there, and I'm going to try a Jamboard. So I've prepared 4 Jamboards. One is titled Things That Went Well Last Year. And it's just one Jamboard, but there's 4 pages. One is titled Things That Went Well Last Year. One is titled Biggest Challenges for Last Year. Now, if you weren't here last year, you can just kind of follow along. And then hopes for this year, and then concerns for this year. Okay. So, I think I will do A through F, G through K, L through O, and P through Z. All right, so if your last name starts with an A to an F, you're gonna start at Jamboard 1. That says things that went well last year. If you are G through K, you're going to go to the second Jamboard, and it's got a little sticky note that says biggest challenges last year. If you last name is L through O, you're going to go and do your hopes for this year. And then P through Z, you're going to do concerns for this year. Okay. Now it says on number 3, remind staff that this is a silent activity designed for all to have a voice. So if someone writes something, you can circle it, check it, put a smiley face next to it, add an arrow and add something to it. This is like having a giant piece of butcher paper that you all can write on. So I'm going to say where you start again, and you will start in that section, and I'll give you about 3 minutes per section, and then I'll tell you to go to the next Jamboard. I'm going to pull up the Jamboard just to show you what it looks like. It's coming. All right, so here's the one that's things that went well this year. So A through F, you're going to start here. And then you click that arrow that I clicked. And then G through K, you're going to start writing about the biggest challenges of last year. L through O, I love it. Hopes for this year. You can also import pictures. So thank you for the good model. And P through Z, concerns for this year. That's where you're going to start. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes, and then I'm going to tell you to switch. Okay. So go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn this off and turn on my timer for 3 minutes.
I've never used this. How do you write?
Oh, sorry. There's a pen right over here. And you pick your pen, and you can pick your color and the width, and you start writing. Or you can do a sticky note and write something in the sticky note and then post it. that help, Rizzo?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 3 minutes starting now.
Miss Hitchin,
Yes.
how do we get to the Jamboard again? How do we get to the Jamboard?
You can click, it should be in the chat. If you go to the chat, Washington put it in the chat. There's a link.
Okay.
So I just tried to use the link and it said there were too many people viewing the file.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then I'll just show it. I guess if there's a limit. I didn't think there was a limit that big. See, we learn things. Okay. Time is up. So now you need to move to the next one. So if you're on 1, you go to 2. If you're on 2, you go to 3. If you're 3, you go to 4. I like that Miss Scotty put in something in the chat. So we can also add that in there if you can't get into the Jamboard. See, I learned something new. Now we have to figure out what's the max number of people that can be in Jamboard because I didn't know that. All right, time is up. Go ahead and go to your next board. So ones go to two, two go to three, three to go four, four to one. All right, time is up. I think this should be your last round. Am I right? So go to your last page. All right, time's up. Did everyone who could get in go to every page? All right, let's go check it out. Share it with everybody. Look at this. Things that went well. Lots of help from admin. Feeding of the 5,000 thanks to the cafeteria staff. The growth of so many of our students showed. Connecting to students in other ways outside of school. The transition from face-to-face to online packets went well. Learned bunches, kept my sanity. Student growth mid-year. Learning new technology. Transitioning into teaching online. How everyone worked together. The integration of writing into all subjects. Building relationships with kiddos. Look at all those circles. Classroom management. Staff acting like a family and taking care of each other during COVID trials. Parents supporting while transitioning into online teaching. Working with his or her awesome team and working together to make sure students received work and that students' work was turned in. I agree, guys. Look at all the stuff we have to celebrate. Let's look at which was this one? I think what didn't go well last year. Okay, we had some unresponsive students, didn't we? Unanswered phone calls from parents. This whole not reaching out with parents definitely needs to be something that we work on this year. Trying to get 100% of those kids to work virtually was tough. I'm seeing lots of parent and lots of lack of motivation, and that some communication, parent communication was tough. Differentiating online was tough. I see some similarities here. So these are some things that we need to keep in our mind as we move into this year with virtual learning. Now I can save all this as a PDF and send it to you. So it says, this is my first Jamboard. So I will try my best to do that and send it on to you guys. This was hopes, a vaccine. Amen. Let go of things I cannot control. Boy, whoever said that, come talk to me. I need to learn how to do that too. Parents and students being engaged, positive, a good mindset, organized. Look at all this, being successful teaching and using technology and being successful, your students being successful in understanding, staying sane, praying healthy, learning ways to connect virtually, time wisely. These are great, guys. Lots of us really want to just go back to the classroom, and I'm with you. I never signed up to be a virtual principal, but yeah, we're going to figure it out. I see lots of trends on here. And then this one was concerns, students wearing PPE, especially young kids, student accountability, both with showing up to do the work. And then I'm also thinking testing accountability. Yeah, health is an issue. Engagement and accountability online is going to be, we're going to have some of the same issues, but I think we're trying really hard to send a message that school's in session, like for real school's in session. So I see lots of, the social distancing, how to help the working parents. We're going to talk about some of that. Okay. Well, that was successful. I learned something new about what you can and cannot do on a Jamboard. I'd like some people to raise their hand and share out about just some overall trends you saw in that activity. I don't see any hands raised yet. Do you, Ms. Stewart?
I can't get my hand to raise, but I noticed that if we got in contact with parents, we had good results. If we didn't get in contact with parents, we didn't have the results that we wanted.
That's a good summary. Thank you. Who else has a noticing?
Miss Crandall has her hand raised.
Okay, Ms. Crandall?
I noticed a lot of concerns about parents and then social distancing, which is going to be very interesting, especially with the little grades. Just kind of normal.
Right. Yep. So those are things we're going to have to think about. You know, how do we get that contact early on? And what about that social distancing thing for especially our littles, our PPCDs, our 4s, our 5s? Yep. What else? As you
Miss Martin might have her. Is that you, Miss Martin, VAR 92?
Yes, that's me. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. The slide back on some of the kids from all the time off and not participating online before, worried about that.
Agreed. I'm jotting these things down because they're good things to notice. I see.
I think I noticed that change was hard for everybody, the students, the parents, the teachers, the administration, and that we were all frustrated in trying to work through it.
Yeah. And it was hard, but I have to say this team did a phenomenal job. I see Miss Davis has her hand up too. Am I right, Miss Stewart? Am I seeing that right?
Yes, ma'am.
I think a lot of our concerns outside of educational stuff went around safety. I know a lot of teachers have concerns, not just like our safety, but our families and the kids. And like, that's what we do. We take care of the kids. And like, how do we do that now? You know, when inherently everything's dangerous. And I think that like stresses us out all a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree. And what I can tell you is we've been putting in systems like crazy, and I'm glad that we don't have to open up face-to-face right away. We can get to know our kids and really perfect things and see if this COVID thing starts to take a downward trend out here in Robertson County. So any other observations from our Jamboard? Okay, Heron family, we're going to move on. I am not going to read this to you. I'm going to give you a little moment to read it, but I really want you to take into your hearts how we're a family. Now notice the marigold picture on the right. So last 2 years, we talked a lot about marigolds, right? So now we are going to become a family of marigolds. We really embraced having a marigold partner, looking for marigolds, which was people that were having a positive attitude, a can-do attitude. They weren't the ones that were always going, rah, rah, rah. They were the ones that are like, hey, it's going to get better tomorrow, or let me help you. We really saw our marigolds truly blossomed when we went into this virtual thing. I mean, we were already blossoming, but we didn't have any choice but to dig deep and support each other and put a positive face forward every single day in the midst of what felt like an impossible task. And so I feel like we can shift from marigolds as a campus theme to family, because we saw that come out in that word cloud. So take a minute to read this, and then we'll have an activity to do with it. Okay, so I think I've given you enough time to read that. Anyone need more time? Unmute yourself quickly. Okay, so we're going to attempt breakout rooms. Wish me luck. I'm putting myself out there. Okay. So one person in that breakout room is going to be the facilitator, and that person is the person who has the closest next birthday. And then the recorder and reporter is the one who was born the furthest away from her. Okay. So room number one, we'll talk about commitment. And what does a committed staff member look like at HES virtually and face-to-face? So facilitator, you'll make sure everyone talks. Recorder, reporter, you're going to make sure that you get everything written down, and then we'll come back out and you'll be the one who shares out. Normally the recorder is someone separate from the reporter in like a classroom setting, but you guys aren't sitting next to each other. So if someone writes something down, unless you know their cell phone number, you can take a picture and screenshot it, the recorder and the reporter have to go together. I did an activity like this the other day with Dr. Lloyd. And so of course I have her phone number. So I took a screenshot of what I wrote down and sent it to her, and it worked. We don't all have each other's numbers yet. So the recorder and reporter is going to be the same person. So number one is going to be commitment. Number two is going to be caring. 3 will be communication, and 4 will be acceptance. I am going to attempt, wait, 3, 4, automatically create rooms. All right, I'm sending you to your rooms. I will bring you back in about 5 minutes.
Ms. Hinchin,
I can hear you. Oh, you need me to go back?
sorry, I told Sylvia, you're in charge. I'm muting myself.
All right, everyone's back. Congratulations. Who was our recorder reporter for number 1, commitment, and who can share out for us?
That was me. We got flexible, on time, dedicated, reliable, goes the extra mile, and committed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Who was the recorder reporter for caring? Caring group, group 2.
That was
I
hard.
was actually talking. I forgot to unmute. I'm sorry. I was talking. It says, what does a caring staff member look like virtually? We have texting, messaging, physical check-ins. And what does it look like face-to-face? Supportive, checking in, helping, responsible, comfortable, being there and being genuine.
Thank you.
Did you hear me?
I heard you, yes. And I'll ask every one of you guys to please take a screenshot and text.
Did you hear me?
We heard you. We heard you. All right, communication.
That was me because I was born in Pennsylvania. Communication was to be a good listener, but also an active listener. Be specific, clearly communicate your expectations, speak less and talk more. Oh, speak less and listen more. Organized and prepared. They know the direction they want to go. Ask questions that lead to an answer and staying focused.
Very nice. I like that. Again, if you guys who are the recorder reporters will just take a screenshot with your phone and text it to me, I greatly appreciate it. And last but not least, our acceptance group.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, we were the acceptance group, and we had some generalities, accepting students themselves for who they are and what the situation is. And as a result of that, being patient, dependent upon their situation, and to accept and embrace the virtual online experience and the workload that goes along with it. Also know that different learning styles will come into play in the virtual environment. Advocating for students and their situations. Not all students are going to have the same situation, so we wanted to make sure that if they were having some difficulties or had special circumstances, we would advocate for them. One of the acceptance issues that we had were the fact that we weren't face-to-face. And I can tell you from experiencing and having taught in a Zoom environment before, that can be very debilitating in the fact that you cannot read oftentimes your students. So that for me and for the rest of the group also, that's a critical aspect of teaching, is being able to be, right there with that student and pick up on things that really in a Zoom environment are very difficult to pick up on. And so just being able to not notice those things and act upon them. The separation between student and teacher, sometimes it feels like you're a million miles away from your student because you're not there in the classroom with them. And also one that I added was to be mindful of parental situations. Oftentimes parents can be at work and they may work 2 jobs or more. So a lot of times we have to understand what that situation is within the house itself or wherever the learning is going on from. That's it.
All right. Thank you guys for doing that. I'm hoping that you're kind of feeling this as like, you know, as we move into this, although we're apart, we're definitely committed to our work and to each other, supporting each other. We care deeply, especially those of you that came back. You know our children and you care deeply for them. We also care deeply for each other, and that was so evident in the spring. Communication, I am finding, is one of the hardest things to do when you're apart, because normally when we're together, I can run down the hall and have a quick conversation and know, you know, by looking in your face, is it understood, or are you confused, or did I just tick you off, you know, and we can problem solve. This communication this way is difficult, you know, through emails and text messages and stuff. So we're going to have to ask for clarity from each other. Like, Henshin, when you sent that, it sounded like you were mad, or were you just trying to just get it out to everybody? And so we're going to have to communicate well with each other. And accepting of our differences, because it's all of our differences that make us diverse, that make us the family that we are. You know, I have 3 sons, and not one of them is alike. You know, they're all very different. They have very different interests and personalities and friend groups. And, you know, so we accept that amongst all of them, and we have to accept each other. It doesn't mean that we have to be best friends, you know, but we do have to accept each other, and we accept our students and their families, and like Reed said, and their backgrounds. We're not going to pass any judgment. So thank you for participating, and I'm hoping you're starting to feel a little bit of a family bond from, you know, a couple 100 miles away from each other. The next activity we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves to each other. So we're going to go into the Flipgrid, and I know Washington, I can tell she's already on it. She went into Flipgrid. It's going to be slow. Hold on. I think I have too many things open. Come on, Flipgrid, don't. So I'm going to join with my Google. Didn't do this yesterday when I did this. A lot of you know Flipgrid because I used it at 3rd, 4th, 5th, no, 5th and 6th grade. Okay, so we're going to do this say hello on Flipgrid. So right here you see record a response. You're going to click on that, and you're going to make a little recording. You're going to just say hello, tell a fun fact about yourself. Make sure you introduce yourself and tell them what you do. You can see I've done one already, and Miss Washington has done one. Once you've done yours, then you can go into other people's and watch it, especially people you don't know, and you can record a response back to them. So this does not take long. I'm going to give you 10 minutes so you can do your recording and then see as many people as you can and record something back to them. Okay? So Washington, did you put the link in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. It's already there.
There it is. All right, y'all have fun. Okay, guys, it was just there and now it's gone because you saw it when I had it up, right? My Flipgrid, it's like it's gone. Is anyone able to do it successfully?
Yes, I just checked the link. I saw Miss Wilkin and I saw Miss Crandall.
It was there and then it just disappeared and it was like totally gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Like the whole,
just the whole thing went away.
I think you have to click on where it says something about the Adobe or something, some kind of flash thing.
I clicked on it. It still didn't work.
Well, let me.
Mine wouldn't let my camera work even though it was not blocked. It wouldn't let me in because the camera wasn't working. It wanted me to import a video.
Mine's doing that same thing too.
Me too.
I know yesterday when I tried it, I had to allow access to my camera. It popped up.
I did allow the access, but even after allowing it, it's still not working.
Okay.
That's what mine's doing.
Did you try to click back on the link and go back in it again, like maybe refresh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not working. I just tried it again.
yeah, I'm in it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but all right, we're going to remember what we started with saying, friends. There's going to be some things that work and some things that don't. It's interesting that we have some people that could get in it. I do not know why you can't see my screen now. It's a blank screen of death. So this is when you can't let them see you sweat, okay? So it didn't work and it's okay. And the beauty of this is that it just saved me some time because I was running out of time anyway. So we are going to experience things like this when we're doing things online. I don't know if it's sometimes, you know, certain things aren't downloaded right. I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi. We'll never know why this didn't work today and it might work tomorrow, right? We don't know.
Right.
And so it's okay. Now, if I could just get my PowerPoint to cooperate, that I would really appreciate. But so again, I told you that I was going to put myself out there because you're going to end up doing this kind of stuff too. And it's completely okay that things aren't always going to go exactly as planned. And you have to tell your kids, just like I told you up front, I'm going to try some new things. I've never done it before. I have done Google Docs before. However, it does not seem to want to be playing nice right now.
Ms. Neff made a comment, Ms. Hinton, that you have to turn off your Zoom camera so Flipgrid can take over your camera. So that might have been some of the problem.
Oh.
See, we're learning together.
Because when we did it yesterday, we didn't do it through Zoom.
Nope.
Okay, see? We learned together. I'm writing that down. I'm literally taking notes because I feel like this is interesting. Zoom camera. So this might be something that if you want to use, because it is pretty cool, that you have them do it during their time when they're working independently, and then you can go and show it rather than trying to do it while you're Zooming with them. So look, we learned something new. I figured something out for you. Thank you, Ms. Neff. We're gonna keep going on. As I said, we will make mistakes and you guys have given me some grace and some patience. All right, next thing. I know I can do this. We're going to start our social contract. We're not gonna actually complete it because I want to do that when we have all of our teachers that are at the mentor training together. And I also want to do it with our paraprofessionals. You know, a social contract only works if everyone really has the opportunity to talk about it. So what I want us to do now is I'm going to put you into 4 groups. And if you've done a social contract, you know how this goes. If you hadn't, hang with me. What I'm going to ask you to do is each group is going to get one of these questions. How do you want to be treated by the leadership team? Number 2, how do you want to be treated by each other? Number 3, how do you think the leadership team wants to be treated by you? And number 4, how do we want to treat each other when there is conflict? Okay, so those are the 4 questions. So each group, I'm going to again split you randomly into 4 breakout rooms. Each group will have a facilitator who makes sure everyone talks and is doing their work, a recorder, and a timekeeper. Timekeeper. You are the timekeeper. Everyone gets 3 minutes of silent writing time, and then a total of 15 minutes. If you need more time, you can back channel text me on my phone to do the sharing recording piece. So the way it does is the recorder will listen to the first person. Oops, sorry, some sort of timer just went off. The recorder will listen to the first person. So let's say I have a list of 10 things about how I want to be treated by the leadership team. And we're usually really only using single words or short phrases. So I read them all off and the recorder writes them down. And then the next person shares, and if they say the same word as what the first person said, you just put a check next to it. And it goes through everyone. So you may have a word that has 8 checks because there's 9 people in your group. That's an important word that goes with number 1. How do you want to be treated by the leadership team? So it's going to be super important that, the facilitator keeps things kind of, going, making sure people are heard, that no one's talking over each other. Recorder, you're going to have to write fast but neat because you're going to have to text it to me. You have, I did give you my cell phone number right down here in case you're new and don't know how to find me. Timekeeper, you're going to give everyone 3 minutes to answer their question independently in just single words or phrases. And then you're going to move us into having one person share and everyone starts sharing. Do I need to give you any time to get some clarification? I do not know. It's almost time for break. I know. All right, I'm going to put you guys into your breakout rooms.
Ms. Hinchin, before you put them out in breakout room, I put all of the instructions on this slide in the chat. So if you go in your breakout room and you need to look at the directions or look at the questions, it's all in the chat.
All right, are you ready? Okay, guys, welcome back. If the recorder will please take a picture of your work and send it to me, I would greatly appreciate that. Oops, just kidding. It's time for a break. It's 2:46, so I'm going to give you a 14-minute break. We will come back together at 3 o'clock to wrap up our day. Get some water, get some adult beverages if you need it, run to the restroom. We'll see you in 14 minutes. All right, guys, it's 3 o'clock. It's time to put your cameras back on. Thank you, Stewart and Malone and Martin. I see Trojak and Harper and Davis and Gonzalez and Wright and Wilkin. I see some empty rooms. I see Mr. Reed and Miss Bowser and Miss Martinez and Miss Arlett and Miss Skidey and Miss Flemings and Miss Hill. And I don't know who that is.
You sound like the lady from Romper Room.
And everyone's here. Would you like to do a finger play now? I'm seeing lots of people showing up. Washington, will you please make sure that you monitor that for me?
Will do.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we're gonna rock and roll. Well, we're gonna try to rock and roll. We're moving into our campus setup plan, and I'm gonna actually move past this. And again, I'm going to model our learning target and our success criteria. And tomorrow you will understand exactly why this is so important to me. So this section is that teachers and staff will be able to explain the campus expectations. So you'll be able to articulate the master schedules. You'll be able to locate components on the lesson plan template. You'll be able to develop a weekly newsletter template or get your, juices flowing on that. Review curriculum resources and the 2021 initiatives, and implement the classroom setup expectations. This section isn't going to be as much like breakout and stuff because unfortunately, it's just a lot of information. So just hang on to your hats. Let me just, do a little verbal vomit for a little bit, and then we'll move on with our lives, okay? So just want to start with our initiatives. We are going to continue with a focus on sheltered instruction, wanting to see those practices. We still have maybe a ELL test at the end. We don't know yet. We want to continue with formative assessment. We know formative assessment is one of the most important tools that we can use that drives instruction more than any summative assessment. Those daily formative checks really help. We have really become a data-rich culture here, and we use it well. I don't feel like we drowned in data, but I feel like we get the data, we use the data to inform the things that we're doing. So we're going to continue with those data practices. I do want to say that, I love the data folders that our kids have been having, but we're now going electronic. So we're going to have to figure out an electronic data folder. I'm waiting on Schoology, that section, because I believe Schoology will do that for us. So I haven't spent a lot of time creating an electronic data collection system for the kids because I think Schoology is going to do it for us. If not, we'll figure it out. Obviously, social emotional learning, that's going to take a front seat now with our kids after the pandemic. We need social emotional learning support. Our kids need social emotional learning support. Our new initiative is engaging students with instructional technology. So most of you have been here now for 2 years with me. You know what is expected with sheltered instruction. You know what that is. If you don't, we'll have little breakout sessions later on. You know about formative assessment and how much I believe in that. You know how we do data here if you've been with us. If not, ask a friend, they'll tell you. Social emotional learning, we really started working on that a little bit with the House system and with the Sanford Harmony. We've got some other tools we're going to use. We've got our grade level assemblies, and we also have our words of wisdom in the morning. But this year, our big new learning, because we'll just continue to perfect this continue side, but our big new learning is engaging students with instructional technology. Not just because we're starting virtually, but because that is the future. And because we're starting virtually, we literally are going to be one-to-one with devices. So this will change the way we teach, whether the kids are sitting in front of us or at home, or some are at home and some are in front of us. This is the future. I wasn't ready for it. But you know, the pandemic said, Hinchin, you're going to be ready to learn how to engage students with instructional technology. Clearly, I'm learning. I'm okay with that. All right, so I want to talk first about the master schedules. You have this document linked. Washington will put it in the chat room. I want to review these. I know that you're going to look at this and think you understand it, and then you're going to start talking with your colleagues and you're going to have 1,000 questions, and I'm okay with that. Ask the questions. If you have questions, let me help clarify them. Some of you are going to have great questions and make me go, we got to overcome that problem or that concern. So you know that I'm never upset if you come with a problem or concern and a possible solution, okay? So I'm gonna go through these, all these different schedules and try to explain them the best I can. There also is a video that we sent out for parents on Dojo that if you want to watch that, it also explains these. So every day during our virtual instruction, during our first 4 weeks, we will have a campus huddle, which is you guys. It's our campus staff. And we'll divide you into different groups. And at 7:30, we'll log on. We'll do some sort of team building activity. We'll just check in with each other. The one thing that I found that was so hard for me last year was waiting until I had that Wednesday meeting with you guys. And I want to just touch base every day. I just want to see your faces or someone see your faces. How's it going? Who are you struggling with? How can we be here to support each other? So we will have a campus huddle Zoom link that we will share out starting when school starts on the 17th, okay? We have a huddle also in the PD, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. At 8 o'clock, you guys will have what's called Classroom Connections. Now this is the pre-K through 2 schedule. So Classroom Connections is requiring students at 8 o'clock to log in with their homeroom teacher. Anything that is tan is synchronous. Anything that is green is asynchronous, okay? Synchronous means it happens live. Green, blue-green, means that it happens on their own time, okay? So for TEA's sake, we had to fill a whole day, okay? We want to send a very strong message to our families that this is real school. And just like you'd have to get up for real school, you have to get up for real virtual school. And so that classroom connection at 8 o'clock is important. It's a time for you to do maybe a morning meeting, maybe some of the Sanford Harmony stuff, to tell funny jokes. It is just a time to connect as a homeroom because our kids need that. And then you can see for pre-K through 2, Miss Stewart will upload into Schoology that you can just grab announcements and words of wisdom. Coach Tolliver will upload PE lessons that the parents can just grab. You can assign Freckle. Remember, pre-K through 2, you're recording your lessons and then uploading it and the corresponding worksheets or work into Schoology or Seesaw. I'm not sure I understand the difference between the two of them. This is a sample schedule for a parent. So you see right here where it says independent work or tutorials at 9 o'clock for pre-K and from 9 to 10 for first grade. You can't say all first graders are going to have it from 9 to 10. So some kids may have independent work or their, small work tutorials or guided math or guided reading at 8:15, but I couldn't show all those different times. This is just kind of what we turned into TEA that said, we're going to have synchronous times and we're going to have asynchronous times. The kids do have a recess time. I've blocked in a lunch time for them. So ideally they would have one tutorial in the morning for like reading and one in the afternoon for math. Again, if you want to do your math tutorial at 12 o'clock, as long as that works for those families, that is absolutely fine. It's really up to you. If you want to stick with this exact schedule, it's absolutely fine. We just have to show that we have enough stuff for our students to do that fills the full day. And we want to make sure that they're learning. Okay. So that's, again, if you have questions, pop them in the chat, or, you know, schedule a time to Zoom with me and your grade level to get some clarification, but let this kind of marinate for a little bit too, so you can kind of think through what this might look like. I'm going to move to 3 through 6. I'm going to try to move to 3 through 6. Okay, 3 through 6. This is the initial calendar that I gave, just showing when they log in on the A day or B day for their content area. But of course, TEA requires that we turn in a full day schedule. So again, we have our campus huddle. And then again, at 8 o'clock is classroom connections. And then you see that the kiddos have some time for announcements and the library lesson. Ms. Wilkin will upload library lessons that those parents can pull down. Then we've got our tutorials or a small group time. This time in the middle of the day is synchronous. It's when that actual instruction is happening. I want to be really clear. If you're a 3rd grade teacher and it's A day at 9:35, the science teacher is going to teach. The other teachers will be also in that Zoom classroom with you, because all of the kids will be, all the 3rd graders will be there. The direct instruction will happen, and then you can break them into breakout rooms with a teacher in each room. This is when we're 100% virtual. It will look different when we go face to face. I'm talking about what is it going to look like right now. So these families will have to follow this schedule. Now, the beauty is that Zoom records. So let's say you have a kid that overslept, or let's say you have a kid that has a doctor's appointment, or had to take care of the baby's sister because mom had to run an emergency errand, or whatever it is. You can say to that parent, don't worry, I've recorded that along with the assignment that's already there. It just has to be done by midnight. TEA is really strange, pre-K through 6, about making sure that kids are engaged daily. And the way they measure that is by doing something in Schoology. Unless they're kids that don't have internet, and that's a whole other thing that we'll figure out later. Okay, so that's kind of what the schedule looks like. I want you to have that. You've got this link, so you know you can take screenshots. I can put it in the faculty folder if you want it, et cetera, et cetera. We're not going to go into that because we don't know what this is going to look like. And I'm trying to go into this. All right. So I sent this out. This is for when we have synchronous and asynchronous on campus. Okay. Because some kids after the 4 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, we don't know what COVID's going to do, will want to come back to campus for instruction, while other kids' parents will want for them to be able to stay home. So in that case, this is the schedule that will be run on campus. This is the on-campus schedule. Again, pre-K, first and second grade, for the most part, will be asynchronous. So the parent's going to have to create the schedule. You're going to teach and record your lessons and upload it to Schoology, and they can watch them the next day and do them. And we can work out the attendance. I'm not worried about that. But at the end of the day, pre-K, K1, 2, you have a nice big chunk of time to either pull kids who need tutorials that are actually in your, that are stayed on campus, or you can call kids and Zoom with them that were home kids and do some small group for them, make sure how they're doing, gives you time to plan, upload content. So I know that this way of teaching is very different. So once we aren't all virtual and we have some at home and some on campus, we're going to have to move quickly. I wouldn't worry about this yet. Let's get good at just our virtual these first 4 weeks, and then we will get into this. The other thing that's really nice is at this end of the day, when the classroom teachers will not be with those kids. They will have time to do all this planning and tutoring and intervention in small group. So the students will be in the cafeteria. So we'll say, hey kiddos, from this time to this time, you got your desktop or your laptop, let's log into Schoology or do Freckle. Okay, now it's time for you to do your math work. Okay, and I have monitors here, but this is also a great time for our math specialist to pull small groups on Tuesday, Thursday, and our reading specialist to pull small groups on Monday and Wednesday. And Trojack can pull dyslexia 5 days a week, and ESL can pull ESL 5 days a week. And Ms. Hodges, it's a beautiful time for her to grab those primary kids for resource minutes. So this looks like it may work out really well for us. This intermediate, I think I've spoken with almost all of your grade levels. You have an A day, B day schedule. And when it's your time to be recorded and you have kids at home, you'll have another teacher in the room. But your time to do the tutoring, planning, calling the kids, Zooming with the kids that are at home is early in the morning. Okay, and again, it provides us the opportunity to have them do their Freckle in the morning if kids are here, and for Harris and Redmond and Trojack and Castellea and Hodges to pull the groups of kids that they need to pull. And then they're not missing any of their other core instruction. So that is the master schedule in a nutshell.
All right, Ms. Hinchin, we have a few questions.
I do see them, yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Rizzo had a question. She wanted to know that if the gen ed teachers receive information about making sure that they have the SPED teachers join their Zoom meetings, invite them to their Zoom meetings.
That's coming, yes, but yes, they do.
Okay.
You want SPED to be invited to the to those Zoom meetings so that we can get them their inclusion minutes.
Okay, and then Ms. Crandall also had a question.
You do not need 2 teachers when you have a Zoom meeting with kids when you're at that grade level.
All righty, that's all the questions I see thus far. Okay, we're good.
All righty, awesome possum. I'm gonna move back to this. And Washington, I'm watching time, so I'm gonna just keep being a talking head, like everything you're not supposed to do. I heard you say okay through the wall. Okay, so classroom connections. We talked about that time. So I linked right here the morning message, the morning meeting stuff that we used the first year I was here, because this would be a great thing to do in those 15 minutes. It's already done for you. You just like write a little morning message and you talk the kiddos through it. So you can enjoy those resources. You also have your Sanford Harmony that you can do some things with. I really just want that classroom connections time to be some time when the kids really look forward to seeing their peers and somehow interacting with their peers and practicing their Zoom etiquette and all of that great stuff. Skipping that. All right, lesson plan template. Your lesson plan template will be uploaded into Schoology, so they say, that we can actually get it in Schoology rather than in Google Docs. Google Docs, Google Classroom worked beautifully, but if you're already in Schoology, it's going to be so much easier for you to just have your lesson plan template in there too. So I have uploaded the samples. So I'll talk through the Gen Ed one, the PE one's here. Ms. Washington, I forgot to have you link the SPED template here, but we can get that to the SPED team. I changed the Gen Ed one a lot because I was actually trying to A, simplify it, and B, match the lesson cycle for virtual. Because although we're doing full-on virtual the first 4 weeks, we're gonna have a hybrid where we're recording ourselves. So it's gonna be better if we kind of shift to this virtual. Come on, baby. So this is what it looks like. You have access to this. So here's your Monday. It should have tabs at the bottom, but it's loading very, very slow. You put your name and what week it is. And then, what is that? I do not know what that is. That should not say post-lesson evaluation. Somebody put that there. And this subject. And then your materials. Here's your learning target and success criteria that I've been talking about. Hint, hint. Tomorrow you're going to learn about that and you're going to copy and paste it from your unit map into this. You don't have to work real hard on that, okay? So I know that you've already unpacked your TEKS when we do unit mapping. What I want is your learning target for that day and the success criteria that you're going to share with your students, okay? Why does it say post-lesson evaluation? That is not at all what it should say. Okay, something weird happened, but I'll fix it later. Then you have your key vocabulary, a spot to just put your key vocabulary. And then I want to just quickly go over, there is a breakout session next week about the virtual lesson plan cycle that you can go to. So the first thing that you do in a virtual lesson plan is you have your hook. Well, if you're a science teacher or you use STEM scopes, you know that's your engage. We also sometimes call that a bell warmer, right? Same difference. What we did though is we put in little drop downs. Remember that TEA was real particular about how long things were going to take so that you could kind of plan out your pacing. So you can pick how long is this going to take. Always learning target and success criteria is going to be part of your hook. What are you going to have them do? Are you going to have them discuss those? Are you going to have them do a quick write? Could you go down the success criteria and say thumbs up or thumbs down? Have you done this? Do you think you already know this or you don't know this? A rating scale, you could say, okay, look at the 3 success criteria on a scale of 0 to 5, 5 being I know it, get out of my way, teacher, I'll teach it. You know, you could do that. You could do a KWL. There's lots of things you could do. The other thing is this list is not exhaustive. If you have other things that you're like, oh, these are great things to do, then send them to me and I'll add it into this drop-down list. Now, I don't want like 1,000 things to pick from, but if these are things that we're doing a lot, it's in that drop-down. And then for tools here, what technology tools might you use? Are you going to maybe use a Padlet or a discussion board? Are you going to show a STEM Scopes video? Are you going to do some number talks? There's also the word other, so you can click other and type in what you're going to do, and then just a little synopsis of what the hook is going to be. And then I want you to think about, when we're doing this hook, what are our L's really doing? Because are we giving them the opportunity to listen? Almost always. Are we giving them the opportunity to speak or read or write? So all that apply to that lesson, you're going to click. So I'm trying to make the lesson planning make sense, but I'm also trying to make it really easy. So after hook, you go to instruction, which is the I do, or the explore explain in STEM Scopes. Again, your time's here. Whoops. Your tools are here. You type in a little bit about what you're doing, and you've got your domain, your language. Practice is the we do, explore, explain. Application is the you do, obviously. Extension, this is either intervention or acceleration. So what are you going to do? And then how are you going to evaluate that lesson? You notice that formative assessment is one option. So you could pick, I'm going to do an exit ticket, or you could say other and then type in the other right there. But you might say, you know what? I'm going to evaluate this lesson with a formative check and I'm going to do the classwork. Or you might be like, hey, it's a test day, so I'm going to give them a test. So that's free to guide you. And then you've got your accommodations. Did you accommodate your SPEDs? Did you accommodate your 504s? Did you accommodate your Ls? Oh, I don't have any Ls in that class. And then you go back afterwards and say, after my lesson, did I meet the learning target? And was it not met? And how am I going to reteach? Remember, that was an important piece to that effective schools framework. So you'll go back in very quickly, check. If you didn't, you're like, oh, I got to pull this kid and this kid, and I'm going to try to pull them on Tuesday morning or whatever it is. So again, I hope you see that it really goes off of what you've already done, but I also tried to really simplify it. So you just have quick little checks and little boxes to fill in so that you know what you're doing and you have a really nice lesson cycle to follow. So that is the lesson plan template in a nutshell, but you can—
All right, Ms. Hinchin.
Yes.
Have a few questions.
Okay, thank you.
Patterson is saying, if we are using the same materials, how are we going to fit FMP and all the components in a 30-minute phonics, reading and writing, et cetera, for virtual learning?
I would think that you would have to say that the hook would be your phonics and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, so we'll give her more clarification on that.
It's good.
After,
It's a
okay.
good question.
Okay.
Anything else in the chat? We might have to do a primary guided reading.
Right. Okay, and so another
question. Yep, you're doing K1 and 2 are doing science and social studies, like 4 weeks science, 2 weeks social studies, or you could do 3 and 3 if you really want to. I just find we always run out of social studies, but we've got plenty of science to do. 3rd grade will have both science and social studies. 4th and 5th grade. 5th grade integrates social studies into ELAR. 4th grade does 4 weeks of science, 2 weeks of social studies, and in 6th grade we have a science block and a social studies block.
Okay. And she was asking about like the sing, spell, read and write. That we were going to be using the same resources, and the students will be able to get their workbooks.
We're going to have to upload them for those 4 weeks.
Yeah, I said we probably have to get them digital links for that.
Yeah, we'll have to get digital. Yeah, we may have to just upload them as a PDF for those first 4 weeks, and then figure out how to get the kids up here that are truly going to stay virtual. I don't want to send them all home and then never see them again. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on. Well, if I can see my screen. Okay, so in Schoology, whoops, see, I click on the wrong thing. In Schoology, I do want you to have 2 weeks of lesson plans by next Friday. You know, this first week is really going to be a lot of getting to know you, setting up your norms, doing your social contract. I'm not saying don't teach, but you know that that's going to be it's going to be like whatever you do normally, you're going to have to do it virtually. And so that's why you have so many big chunks of time in the PD schedule to plan, because I want you to be able to have 2 weeks up. We have to post a newsletter kind of thing with the daily agenda because we have kids virtual for parents. That's a TEA requirement in one of their many COVID documents. And so we have to say, like on Friday, hey parents, this is what's going to be happening. We're going to do that. You can do it in Schoology, but I'm going to send out a s'more where you guys all send me your grade level newsletter, and it just gets pushed out every Friday, and I just link it. And we'll talk about that more. We have time in the schedule to work on that. And SPED also is going to need time to review to create some accommodations for the kiddos that are at home. So let's say we go back to half face-to-face and half at home. Well, SPED's going to have to be able to look at that work and know what's going to be taught so they can accommodate that for the kids, especially those at home. Miss Washington has used Schoology, and I think there are parents on here that have also. And so for Schoology, it helps to have a naming convention, because if you're a parent that has, a child that's taking 4 classes per se, or if you're a parent that has 3 kids in the campus, it's easier for them to wade through it if the naming conventions are the same. So we talked about just saying what the 6 weeks was, what the subject was, and what week that folder is in Schoology. Now I'm gonna admit my ignorance. I do not know Schoology. And so I do not know exactly what that's going to look like. I cannot control this thing. But we will work on those naming conventions so that it's easy for our parents. Washington, did you want to say anything else about that?
I was trying to pull up the little the lesson plan, or the name convention that I created when we were kind of working together. And so I can kind of do a picture of that and email it to you guys just to kind of see what it kind of looks like.
And we can do that in our unit mapping too.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm watching our time. So our virtual instruction, we want students to have to log into Schoology every single day. That's going to be really important. First of all, that's where all their instruction is going to live. It's also a way that we track engagement and attendance. Students even if a student says, I'm going to do all my work, you know, I don't need any help. I'll watch your videos. I'll do your assignments. I'll do your freckle. I'll watch the words of wisdom. I'll do all of this. I'll even meet with you 30 minutes twice a week. But I'm going to wait till Friday to do all my work. They can't do that. TEA has said if we have children that are learning at home, they have to engage every day. And the only way to prove it is by putting an assignment in Schoology that requires them to log on to the system. So remember how last year we had a call to make sure they were working, and then we had this Google Doc and we had to track, and Schoology is going to do it for us. But you have to have an assignment a day in Schoology, even if it's just a quick survey of something because you did something else. But we need the kids to log on every day in Schoology and interact with it. And I think once you start actually getting into it, you're going to be like, how did I ever teach without this thing? I do want you to set an office hour or 30 minutes for parents and students so they could Zoom or call. They just know that that's your time to be reached. I'm going to caution you to set some guidelines. Like, I don't take calls after 5. Or if I take call, you know, I'm available from 1 to 1:30 and I'm available from 7 to 7:30 if that's what you want to do. It's up to you. But we all know that when you work from home, that kitchen table, or even if you're lucky enough to have an office, it's still in your home. And so there's not like a big determination between when work starts and work ends. So don't overburden yourself. I mean, I want you to be available to our families, of course, but I also want you to feel comfortable in saying, these are my office hours. And if you say it up front and get in front of it, then you won't have as many parents trying to take advantage of that. So I'm going to strongly suggest that you do that. I'm going to share out sample one pager I think Ms. Malone did for Zoom, so that the parents knew that, you know, this is the second grade login that I need to go to when it's Zoom time. Like Ms. Patterson always uses this login. Like, you don't want to set up a separate login every single day. So for example, today I could have set up that we were going to have a Zoom meeting from 8 a.m. to open, so that whenever someone popped in, and I Zoom meeting for the district this morning, you can see how if we're going to have all of this here on our family, so they don't have a constant change in Zoom meeting codes to try to keep up with. So that's what I'm going to suggest, and we can get into more in the weeds in that after we do some of our trainings. Grading is still going to come into play. Remember last year we had to like figure out a new grading system and we had a waiver because of the pandemic. This year, grading, literally 2 grades per week, 2 majors per 6 weeks, just like we always have. Again, lessons should be a week in advance so SPED inclusion can review and accommodate. Small group. This is where we're going to get the most bang for our buck, because we will have a small group on Zoom and we won't have to worry about the rest of the class not behaving at stations. They're just going to be in front of you. So SPED inclusion can assist with that small group. Now, it would be a resource group if if it was only SPED kids. But if you have a couple low gen ed and a couple SPED that you really want someone to work with them on inferring or numbers or adding or whatever it is, coordinate with your inclusion teacher. They can help with those small groups. I'm going to ask primary to make sure that they see at least 3 groups a day for reading and 3 for math. They're only about 20-minute groups because you can't hold their attention for much longer than that. So after you're done recording, because there's so much that is asynchronous, you'll have the time to pull those groups. I'm going to ask that intermediate, you pull about 3 groups a day I don't know who these people are. 3 groups a day, but use science and social studies to help you do some of those additional groups. Your science and social studies teachers. They're going to be sitting in the lessons with you anyway, so they'll be really able to help you. So those are some things we want to see with virtual lesson expectations. Washington, do I need to stop to answer questions?
No, we're good to go. We do have requests for recordings.
Okay.
They want us to share the recording with them so they can
Yeah.
go back and listen to it again.
Okay, all right. We are not going to do this because I'm watching the time. We'll have time to do this later. We are going to have a newsletter. I know many of you send home your individual newsletters or a grade level newsletter. We're going to have a weekly newsletter. I already alluded to this. No more than 2 pages, where if first grade is doing it, you know, they'll have a, you know, here's Miss Patterson's information, here's Miss Wright's information, here's Miss Gonzalez's information. Well, here's what's happening next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in science. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in reading, because we're going to have to give that to parents as if it was a lesson plan. Now, this thing can also get uploaded into Schoology, but I'm going to collect all of those grade level newsletters, the weekly ones, and then I'm just going to I'm going to link them in S'more, and I'm going to send it out every Friday night to families. So, you know, I don't want it long. I don't want you to put a ton of work into it. It's like on Monday, we're going to learn about addition of double-digit numbers. We're going to do page 26 and 27 in Go Math. On Tuesday, we're going to continue with addition of numbers. We're going to do 28 and 29 or wherever I left off. We have to have that by law for our parents. Well, not by law, but by highly recommended by TEA. So if we have the newsletter that goes out, it's all in one place. Because imagine if you're a parent and you're like, okay, I just want to know, like, what does my kid have? So you're going to have to go, okay, I got to find this kid and this week, there it is. And then wait a minute, hold on, that was just reading. Now I have to find that kid and this week in the math lesson. Like, you could see how it could be a little bit overwhelming. So we need to give them a one-stop shop too. So we will work on what that looks like. I'm gonna let you work on it. I'm sure it'll be adorable and electronic. And we have time built in to do that work into our schedule. Do I need to stop? I see green, orange, whatever that color is. I'm just sharing this. You do have the doc. This is basically an overview of the curriculum that we have. People have asked what the curriculum is. For pre-K, we've got Frog Street. K2, here's what you have for your content areas. 3-6. We will have Texas Learning 3.0, which is from TEA. It will be electronic, so it should be some really good resources, and we should have information on it shortly. We were supposed to know like final stuff by, I think, this last Monday, but it has not come out to my knowledge. So once we have, that should say 3.0, not 2.0, sorry. Once we have that, we will share that information with you. Our intervention courses, like what Harris and Redmond are doing, they'll do the math and System 44, and they can do some Think Up. Obviously, we'll have 40 Farrier and our GT stuff. And for our resource kiddos, we've got these resources. And we can always change and adapt this, but this is just a nice, quick little one-pager of what you can expect to have at your fingertips when you are creating these lessons. Any questions I need to know about?
Yes. So Ms. Harper says, will grade level packets be given if there are printouts needed to go along with single cover or newsletter of a newsletter?
So no, we are not going to do anything paper because the kids are all virtual now, and our parents, we really want to teach them to really find this electronically, right? Because Schoology is electronically. Only kids who do not have access to cell phone, not access to Wi-Fi. We can fix that. We can give them Wi-Fi box if they have access to cell phone towers. But we do have a few kids that live far out that there's no cell phone tower coverage. and we could give them 28 MiFis and they still couldn't get on. Those are the only kids that we're going to have to do some special work for. And I'm planning on putting, at least during this virtual time, Harris and Redmond on that.
Okay, another question is, when will we get our curriculum, and does the reading have online digital resources we can use?
Yes. Holly, you're going to want to get with Jenkins. She is a master of HMH online. And I do believe Miss Bowser also was playing with it. You can come up and get your materials if you want to get your fingers on it. I know Miss Bowser did that the other day. We do plan on, formalizing or formally giving you stuff on the days that we have set aside to work in your classroom. And Miss Martin, your grading will look the way it always has. And you use the same report card.
Okay, I think that's it.
No, someone was also asking what is SMORE, and Miss Dean wanted to know, when you say 3 groups per day, what does that look like in a virtual lesson? So what is SMORE? And when you say 3 groups per day, what does that look like in a virtual lesson?
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I missed those. So SMORE is an electronic newsletter. It's just a nice little template. So I'll create the SMORE that's got like different things, and in it I will link to your electronic newsletter. So it's just it's an electronic newsletter. It's very simple to use, and I love it. I love it because it's so simple. And the other question was what? Oh, what is the 3 group? So it's a small group instruction. It's 3 to 5 kids that need help, that you're going to start pulling them, and you can do your math reteach, you can do your guided reading with them, anything that those kiddos need. You would set it up as if they were in your room doing guided reading or guided math, but you're going to set up with that family, like, hey, at this time, I need so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so to log on, and here's the Zoom link. All right, classroom setup highlights. I did send you the expectations for the classroom. Your desks have to be in rows facing in the same direction, 6 feet apart. That makes me want to bite my tongue, because how often have I been like, oh, you're never put kids in rows, always have them in groups. And well, we're in a COVID pandemic, and so your desks must be 6 feet apart, arranged in rows. We took out the small group guided reading tables. Those may not go back in. We cannot socially distance our small group guided reading, guided instruction tables. When COVID is gone, we will get them back. That's why we have those storage rooms. But we also need as much space in that desks 6 feet apart. And so we took out anything that seemed extra. If you have personal things in there, you might want to take that out to ensure that you can get everything 6 feet apart. You can use the storage also. If you have, you can absolutely just slide that into the storage room. Right now, you don't want to have a lending library, because you don't want a kid to cough on their hand, go pick up a book, read it, go put it back, and then maybe there's COVID on that book and another kid goes and picks it up. So you're going to want to make sure the books that the children have are assigned just to them. They're going to be in their desks, so that will be like their little cubby is their desk. It goes against everything we've been taught, but it is what it is right now. And if I know anything, I know you guys will come up with some great ways to handle this. Please think about how much paper stuff you put up in your rooms once we're back. The fogger can actually harm paper over time. So if you have papers on the desk, or if you have anchor charts on the wall, over time, they will just begin to disintegrate, because the fogger that they use to kill the COVID virus will just start, it's wet, right? So even like paperback books and stuff, they may start to disintegrate a little bit, and I don't want your stuff to get ruined. So that's why we have a storage room in each hallway. Please tie your bulletin boards into the theme. We always have our theme. This year is elementary explores the world. And so you'll have grade level bulletin boards in the main hallway. We'll do the same thing we did last year with your pictures and your name. And then you can do something about places you've traveled or places you wish you'd traveled, or you can get really creative. And then, you know, the bulletin board outside your classroom needs to definitely tie to, you know, exploring the world. Remember, I'm not a big bulletin board person. So if you make it real pretty, we're not interior designers, we're educators. So put it up, leave it up, I don't care. If you really want to put it up and change out work every week, more power to you, but I probably won't notice.
All right, Ms. Hinton, we have a couple more
so-
questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Ms. Hill wants to know, what about tables for the computers and the overhead? And will they be able to check out library books to keep in their desk?
I believe that Miss Wilkin and I were talking about having her become a roving librarian rather than them going into the classroom and into the library and touching all the books. So they will be able to get they will be able to get books into their hands, but we're going to have to set it up very differently. If you have room to put like an AV cart so that you can put your dot camera on it, you're welcome to. We're working on getting docking stations because remember, teachers second and up are going to move, kids can't move. And so you'll have a cart with your laptop and all your materials and you'll just go from room to room. And so you'll literally just dock your computer wherever the docking station is, and that will tie to the dock camera, that'll tie to the TV, that'll tie to everything. So again, if you have a need for something and there's the space, come talk to me. I prefer that we don't have the computers in the room because we're one-to-one. We can take them out of the room and create extra labs, and I'm fine with that if you don't want them in there, because I don't want them touching the keyboards unless we cover the keyboards, and they're going to have their own device. So I'm not sure if there's even any value in that. All right, I sent you this also. This is the document I mailed to you. Just really thinking through, I want you to go back and really read this. I tried to give you some alternatives for things that really kill us, like no interactive vocabulary. Well, not now because all those index cards are going to disintegrate. Stations, well, can you keep them socially distant? Instead of stations, maybe you create choice boards. So there's lots of different ideas that I put in here. It was just me brainstorming. It's not a mandate. It's just how do we, in this time until things go back to normal, still do some of our best practices. So please take a few moments to review that. Here's the PD schedule. So tomorrow morning, we will have our huddle at 8. And then we will have our T-test training. And then we'll have training for the learning targets and success criteria. Tomorrow afternoon, you will have time to complete your T-tests, to work in your rooms, to work on your bulletin boards. If you're coming up, you must come in the entrances that were in the email. You must have a mask. You must hand sanitize. Please do not congregate 28 people in one small space. Just use your really good judgment. We want to practice all of this before we have to practice it with children. So this needs to become part of our new routine. So before you come, take your temperature. If you don't have a thermometer, come in, sanitize, and let Rosita shoot you with the thermometer. And make sure you also do the COVID TEA mandated screening. If you are on campus, every day that you are on campus, you must do that screening document. We delete it every day. I don't hold on to it. It's just enough for me to say, is there someone I should be worried about? We've got some unit mapping stuff here going on. And when you're not unit mapping, we have a virtual conference that I'm very excited about. Up here, we'll talk about Meet the Teacher and our newsletter. We have right here, Texas A&M on Tuesday. Can you guys see my thing when I'm hovering over it? We have Beyond Talking Heads. And so these are strategies to engage students in the online classroom. That's from A&M. And then we have some teachers that are going to offer little 30-minute sessions here. We have a big chunk of time for our virtual conference. Lots of time to prep those lesson plans. Lots of time here to prep lesson plans. Our pairs come back here. This now is convocation. We'll do some stuff around our theme and our handbook and just a few things. We do have someone coming in to talk about implicit bias. And then we'll do our first day of school procedures, including how are we going to take attendance, and then we start virtually. Know that this is all subject to change, and I will continue to email out as things change. I see orange. Do I need to stop, Washington?
Yes, we have some questions coming
Okay.
in. I'm not really sure. Ms. Martin is saying something about it's tiny. I'm not sure what she's inquiring
It's
about.
small.
Where this is
Hard to
where
read.
Miss C. Martin, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I will share the PowerPoint.
Yeah, it's okay. I know it's in the email. I was just saying I couldn't read it, but it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I will absolutely put this PowerPoint in the faculty folder and share it with you guys. That's absolutely my plan.
Okay.
Thank you. But thank you for the reminder. Okay. I'm going to wrap us up. So every day, a lot of times we'll be apart. We won't like have listened to me be a talking head for this whole amount of time. So we'll have a daily wrap up, but we're going to pretend we left and came back and ooh, yay, let's wrap up. So for tomorrow, please make sure you can log into T-Test and DMAC. That's going to be important for you to be able to begin your goals. If you can't, it's okay. We'll get you in eventually. There's 2 documents here to help you with that. Wanted you to have this right here. This is the video that went out to parents about what virtual instruction is going to look like. So you might take a few minutes to watch it. And this is the PowerPoint, the PDF of the PowerPoint. I just voiced over the PowerPoint and put it in YouTube. So again, if you want to know, you're going to start getting questions from parents, past parents. This information might help you if you didn't already see it on Dojo. And then here's our wrap-up link. I want you to go into this form in a minute, not yet. I want you to go into this form and answer it for me. And I really want to take a moment to thank you guys for letting me take risks. I learned a few things. I learned that when you give people work time, it's awful to sit here in silence as the presenter. I don't know how it felt for you guys, but I'm gonna always make sure I got music in the background now. Obviously, you need to know your apps a little better than I did and know what the capacity is. If you have the free version, how many? Didn't even think about that. So that's something for me to think about, something for you to think about. A big aha for me today was when you guys were reading independently, because I can't see all of you because there's so many of you. Normally, like in a classroom or in a staff development, you can tell when people are ready to move on because they look up or they start looking around or they pull out their phone. I can't see any of that in this environment. So, you know, I think it's important to, you know, have some way for them to signal, hey, I'm good, I'm ready to move on. You know, learning about the Zoom camera interacting with other cameras is something really good to think about. Did I have anything else written down? So those were my big ahas. So if you will take a few moments, go into this link. I'm hoping that Washington will pop it in our chat.
It's already done.
And that is our day, friends. We will see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for our first huddle, and I will send out that link tonight. Holly, I will find out about a link for T-Test. It's just magically on my desktop, but I'll send it in the email.
We're going to stay on for a few more minutes. So if you have any more questions, just pop them in the chat.
And when you're done, you can leave the meeting, but we'll stay here to answer questions.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I plan on coming up tomorrow to try to work in my room. I don't know where to find, I know Washington put the Google form in the chat, but I don't know where to find it when I get there tomorrow or every day after that I come up.
I will, right now it's a calendar reminder for the front office. So I will just add all of you guys. So it'll ding every morning at 7:30 to remind you.
And
You
so
just have to
it'll
accept-
automatically take us to the questions?
It will, yes. The link will be in that. And so if you just, you have to accept my calendar invitation.
Okay.
And then it should, I'll just send it out to HES staff.
Okay.
Okay. Ms. Williams, you need to log in to the Hearn ISD email when you are up here on campus. So come to the front office.
Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Neff, you can, I think that room's clean now. Or we can just put it to the side. You can come up anytime. We'll make it work.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm a little confused about the third grade, like A day, B day schedule. So I'm assuming A days are going to be like Monday, Wednesday, and B day will be Tuesday, Thursday, or how is that?
So it'll be like, it's going to be a little confusing. So we'll have to train the kids and ourselves. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be A day. Tuesday, Thursday, Monday will be B day. You know, it'll just keep going.
It alternates. So each day it's going to be
literally an alternate. So what you'll have to do is put an A at the top of your schedule. But what I would do for you guys is, you know that on A day or B day, they're logging in at 9:15.
Mm-hmm.
So just get one Zoom link because then they're at the right spot.
Okay. I do have another question. So I tried to get into Schoology because I had already set up my email when I went to campus the other day. And I never received, I put in like the forgot password, but I never received an email from Schoology to my Hearn ISD email.
It's probably because you weren't in Texies yet, but I just gave all that information to Miss Martinez yesterday. So try again today. And if it doesn't work, then we'll problem solve some more.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
That was my question about the Schoology. I tried it again this morning and I still don't have access to it.
Okay, I will follow up with her because what's happening is it's pulling from everyone last year, like even like I see Miss Bowser, she's on here, so I'm gonna pick on her. She taught a course called Accelerated Instruction last year, and we don't have that course. She's our ELA, our 5th grade teacher, but it's tying her to last year's stuff, so nothing has rolled over yet. So I did give them the information, and I'll follow up with Lucy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna write myself a note. You can deuce out anytime you're done, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.
Once we finish that survey, then we're out.
Once we're done with the survey, we're done. Thank you.
I'm having problems getting into DMAC.
Is it because you need the unique ID?
Probably. I've got to get out of my old school and then get into y'all.
Yeah, it may be best to do it when you're up here in our Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right. Okay.
When we're setting up our classroom, do we have to always come in through the front door? So like we get there, we check in, and then after that, can we go through the door closest to our room?
I mean, the answer should be no, because of needing to sanitize all the time. You know, it's really about the safety practice, or if you at least have hand sanitizer right when you walk in the room, I'm okay with it. But we really want to make sure most staff is normally coming in just 1 or 2 spots, because we have to be able to make sure everyone came in and sanitized their hands and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But I understand that like on the weekend, you're going to want to pull right outside that pre-K and not walk 1,000 miles. I get that.
Okay.
Harper, everything should be updated now.
What time will you guys close at? What time do you close today?
Oh, we'll be up here till at least 6.
6. Okay, let me see if I can jot it there. Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm gonna end the meeting.
Ms. Incham, before you go, I have a quick question for you.
Uh-huh.
So I know the T-test tomorrow morning, it's state mandated. I'm gonna make it to that, but after that, I won't be able to be on tomorrow or all day Monday. Is it like last year I text you, Miss Washington, Rosita, that kind of a thing for that? Or do I just email?
You can email or text, that's fine. And then we're recording all these, so I can upload it and you can watch it on your own time, and then you're not even gonna miss anything.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
No problem. You take care of yourself.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. We're praying for you.
Thank you.